What is up, everybody? Welcome back to UFSU. I'm Travis doing a deck profile today on Jedah 2 dot. So Jedah says this attack gets +1 or -1 damage for each of your opponent's momentum. He also says destroy one foundation. After you block an attack, your opponent must add one of their foundations to their momentum. He also has a once per turn that says enhance. If your opponent has 0 momentum, they must add one of their ready foundations to their momentum, and you draw a card. So this deck is very controlling, and you'll see it in all of the decisions that I make throughout the deck. I am playing under death. So first, we have assets. I play 3 1-of assets, starting off with Swordfish 2. Swordfish 2 is a 3-4 check that says add this card to your momentum, add this attack to its owner's momentum. So it basically aborts an attack and gives me a momentum for free, which is very good with a lot of the stuff that's in the deck that requires a momentum. On to Chikara no Hado. This card is fantastic in our meta right now. It is a non-block 3-5 check that says destroy. After your opponent plays an ability on a card in their staging area for the 3rd time or greater this turn, cancel it and destroy 2 cards in your opponent's staging area. So with a lot of the 7th cross characters being very ability spammy, you can cancel it when they try to play the ability for the 3rd time this turn, and then blow up their extra characters because it says cards in their staging area, not specifically foundations. So in addition to that, it is also great foundation hate. So if they play a bunch of spammable foundations, like let's say static buildup, for example, you can respond to them doing static buildup for the 3rd time, cancel it, blow up 2 foundations, which is very good. I also play 1 Arondite Replica. This card is rarely ever used for its abilities, but it is a 2/5 with a Breaker 3 mid block, unique weapon. Commit, after an attack is played, it gets +1 or -2 to its multiple ratings. Deadlock Enhance, your attack gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So this card is mainly used to block with and then pick back up with Guardian of the Spirit Sword, which we will get to later, because it is a Breaker 3 mid-block. On to our actions. I play 3 Prepare to Fight. This card is fantastic, especially in Jedah. It is throw hate, it is multiple hate, it is what we need it to be, basically, at the time. So the Jedah likes to give his opponents momentum, which can be a very big drawback if they're playing big multiple attacks, and Prepare to Fight single-handedly says no to those, unless they have response hate. It is also, like I said, very good against the throw decks, like Sophie. If she plays a non-mid throw, we can block it, say no damage, Breaker 1, and then have them add one of their foundations into their momentum, which is very good at ending a kill turn, actually, as Jedah does. On to Bang. I play 2 copies of Bang. It is a 3-diff, 2 high block, 4 check. After your opponent does not block this attack, they lose 3 vitality, and I draw a card. Remove, seal 1 card in your opponent's staging area. So basically, this is just used to seal their character on the turn they're trying to go in. It basically is a pretty big floodgate against all of the decks that are reliant on their character to win the game for them, in addition with their attacks. And on to my spicy 2-of, which I absolutely love in this deck. I play 2 Showdown. It is a 3-diff, 3 high block, 4 check, card pool. After you block with this card, commit 2 foundations in your opponent's staging area. So basically what the combo is with this card is I block with it, respond Jedah, have them add one of their foundations into their momentum, and then I commit 2 of their foundations, which is very good at ending a kill turn because it is essentially Breaker 2 for the rest of the turn, because they no longer have those 2 cards to pass checks with. It also says commit 2 foundations after my opponent plays an ability on an action card, discard it, and cancel its effects. On to my attacks. I play 2 Skull Barrier. It is a 0 mid block reversal, 0 mid for 3, which becomes a pretty big threat later on in the game with Jedah because it can be hitting for 6, for 7, and they don't want to block it, so they either have to choose to block it and like mess up their card pool if they're a combo oriented deck, and basically it's a really hard decision for people to make. It also says our card pool, remove discard 2 momentum after your opponent plays an ability or plays an attack, discard it from the card pool. So it basically aborts an attack for 2 momentum, which can be a pretty hefty cost, especially in this deck where we're using our momentum for other things as well. Speaking of other things, I play 4 Jedah de Lamento. This is Jedah's rare attack. It is a 3 diff, 2 high block, 3 mid for 3, 3 check, with Jedah multiple 2 ranged reversal. It says our card pool after you block with this card, add the top card of your deck to your momentum, and then I can attempt to play it as a reversal after it resolves. So, basically, this card just gets me a momentum for free to use on my turn, to use on their turn, to use with like Skull Barrier, to use with Guilt Seeker, to use with a lot of things in this deck, basically. It's also arguably one of the best cards to block with because it is a decent threat later on in the game. Actually a very huge threat later on in the game. Because at the point where you're playing this card as a reversal and actually trying to kill them with it, it's getting +4, +5 damage. So it's like a 3 mid for 8 with multiple 2 that they like have to block. And it pretty much just ends their kill turn. On to one of my best utility attacks. This is Falling Heel Strike. It is a 4 diff, 2 low block, 2 eye for 4, kick with stun 1. E, unflip 1 foundation. This attack gets 2 speed, which is fantastic, especially unflipping as a cost. So even if they cancel it, I still got my unflip off. So it's very good with stuff like Guardian of the Spirit Sword and Kirin Soul, which are 2 of this deck's best defensive pieces. On to arguably one of my main kill conditions. I play 4 Guilt Seeker. It is a 5 diff, 4 low for 4, throw with multiple 1, 3 check. E, if I played this attack's multiple ability, I destroy one of my opponent's foundations or assets. It also says E, your opponent, if my opponent has no assets, this attack gets 2 damage and my next attack gets 2 damage. So it is a throw that scales very well with extra damage, which Jedah can provide, especially later on in the game where it's getting 4 or 5 damage. And then the multiple gets +2, this gets +2. Or even if I don't multiple and it's just like a Falling Heel Strike getting 2/2 because I unflip for speed. It's definitely one of my favorite cards from Soul Calibur. I play 4 Hyper Bomb. I actually play this card instead of Jedah's Ultra Rare, which may come as a surprise to a lot of people. The thing about the Jedah Ultra Rare that I did not like was the times that I used it, it did not do enough to make it worth the 2 check in my deck, because every time I would check it, it would lose me the game, and every time I played it, it would not win me the game immediately. And so I feel like in this list specifically, I like Hyper Bomb more because it slows the pace of the game down, especially if you're playing against someone who has a higher total vitality than you. So like if you're playing against Yoshimitsu, Goro, especially Goro, this card just hoses Goro. It's fantastic. It is a 5 diff, 2 eye block, 3 low for 5, stun 2 weapon with a 3 check that says E, if this attack is not blocked, I draw 1 card, and E, commit 1 foundation. If your opponent has a higher vitality than you, you get to blow up one of their foundations that was committed due to this card's stun ability. So basically what you do is you stun 2, blow up one of their foundations, and then you have them add one of their ready foundations to their momentum with Jedah. Or you can also do it in the reverse order if they only have 2 foundations or whatever. On to From Hell, which is my last attack in the deck. It is a 6 diff, 2 high block, 3 eye for 6, charge, desperation 4, EX3 Fury with a 3 check. It says, E, if this attack is not blocked, I destroy one of my opponent's foundations, and they burn X, where X is the printed control of the destroyed foundation. So this card is fantastic in this deck because I deny them so heavily of resources that if they block one of my attacks, I can always just play this as my second attack in desperation and blow up 1 to 2 foundations, depending on whether I've already used Jedah that turn. This card is absolutely fantastic, and my secondary kill card. On to foundations. I played 2 We Are Many, You Are But One. This card puts in major work in Jedah. It is basically a free-ish way to reset my opponent's momentum to get multiple uses out of my Jedah once per turn. It says E6+, your opponent discards 1 momentum. And then the other 2 abilities aren't relevant in this deck. It is a 3 diff, 2 mid block with a 6 check. Definitely fantastic card. It lets me debuild them more, it lets me draw more cards and be a 7-hander every turn. Love it. On to Hunt for Spiders and Dragons. I play 3. I actually like this card less at a 4 of than I ever have in any format as of now. It is very good foundation control, but there is other things that can control better, I'd say. So like, I need them less playing Jedah than I do in another character because he already controls my opponent's foundation base by making them add something in. This is just a bit more controlled, so I get to choose instead of them choosing, which is fine. It also is relevant with the response after one of my death or life attacks touches them. They burn 2 or gain 2, which is very good on a reversal. I can gain 2 when they're trying to kill me, or burn them for 2 when I'm trying to kill them. On to Nightmare Tears. This is absolutely an insane card in Jedah, and arguably one of the reasons to play Death. It says, when I attempt to block with this card, I reduce the speed of the attack I'm blocking to 0. So it's always on a 3+ progressive. It also says, E flip during my turn, my opponent commits and freezes one of their foundations. So it is very good with Falling Heel Strike because I can flip it to make them commit and freeze one, and then unflip it with Falling Heel and use it again, since the game sees it as a new entity once it's flipped face up. Love this card. I play 1 new shipmate. This is damage reduction and vitality gain. It helps me survive the longer game, especially against the more pokey, like cheap shot decks that just want to like poke you down. It just says E commit. This attack is -2 damage, and I gain 1 vitality, which is very good in Jedah because he already gives minus damage where X is their momentum. I play 3 Telekinetic Mastery. This card is a 2 diff with a 5 control, 3 mid block. R flip after I discard any more cards due to my opponent's effects. I commit one of their foundations and draw a card. R 6+, which this is the more relevant ability. After my opponent increases the speed or damage of their attack, that attack gets -2 speed or -2 damage. So in a control deck, this is the DR I need, the speed reduction I need, because at worst it says commit a foundation for -2 speed or -2 damage. Absolutely insane card. I play 4 Ridding the World of Outsiders. This card is very good, especially in reversal decks. It is a 2 diff, 3 high block, 5 check. E commit. My next attack this turn gets +2 speed and +2 damage. E flip. This attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage, playable while committed. So I can flip this for +2/+2 to my, or +3/+3 in total to my From Hell. So I commit for 2/2, and then play the from hell flip for another 1/1. So now my from hell's a 6 high for 9 that burns them for like 4 to 6 if it touches them and they don't block. Absolutely love this card. I think it's a staple under all 3 of its symbols right now. I play 4 Entrusted Protector. This card is absurd in any grindy control deck. It is E commit, this attack gets -2 damage. E flip, this attack gets -2 damage, playable while commit. So it is a multiple time use E commit for -2 damage, and then I can flip it for -2 damage again. So basically, what I do is I'll be like -1 with damage, or with Jedah, commit for -2, flip for -2, and that's -5 damage on their attack. And it's absolutely fantastic. So I can just blank an attack for free, essentially. I play 3 Cairn Soul. This card is basically Ophidiophobia, which, for the uninitiated who don't know, is E-flip. This attack gets -1 speed for each character in my staging area. And then if I block this attack, it deals no damage. Which basically that's what Ophidiophobia was, minus the minus speed part. So I could just flip it for, if I block this attack, it deals no damage. So good against throws, good against a lot of things basically. If I don't have the block for something and I need to block it, I can just, oh, well, I can block this with anything now and it'll deal no damage. It's also speed hate that I can reset with Falling Heal. I play 3 Guardian of the Spirit Sword. This card says, E, once per turn, this attack gets -2 speed. If it's a weapon attack, it gets -3 speed instead. E, flip, discard 1 card, add 1 asset from my discard pile to my hand. So this lets me pick up Swordfish after I use it for momentum. It lets me pick up my Rondite replica for a Breaker 3 mid block. And it's also free -2 speed, which is absolutely insane in a control deck that wants to block everything. On to his Gift of Mortal Blood. I play 3. This card says, E, discard 1 momentum. This attack gets -5 speed, only playable if your opponent has at least 1 momentum, playable while committed. It also says E commit, I add 1 card from my opponent's discard pile to their momentum. So basically this card is used to snipe the pesky momentum outs that they use against me. Because Jedah obviously wants them to keep their momentum instead of spending it all. So this just, if they have a Dark Cherry Toe, I'll put it in their momentum. Missile Launcher, put it in their momentum. All of these good momentum outs that I don't want them to see, put it in their momentum. On to our spam. I play 4 Far Worse Places Than Hell. This is a 1 diff. E commit, your attack gets +1 damage for each of your opponent's momentum. R flip, after you play an attack with a reversal keyword, I draw a card. So basically when I reversal them, I can defensively draw a card. I can use it to pump damage on defense, on offense. It's just a fantastic card. It does so much work, especially for a 1 diff. Like, that card being a spam is insane. I play 2 Demon Hide. This is a 1 diff spam that says, R flip, after an attack is played, it loses gauge and cannot gain keywords. So basically this card is good against the gauge decks, it's good against Coffee Samba, it's good against anything that would try to give its attacks keywords. This card is especially good against a card called High Seas Adventure, which basically says R, after you play an attack, it gets flash, or after your opponent plays an attack, it gets flash. So basically your opponent can just respond and say, no, you can't give my attack flash now because I have the first response window. Which is one of the best uses for it, actually. I play 2 Agent in Black. This is a 0 diff grow spam that says E flip, remove 1 face down card from my card pool. So basically, after I multiple, if I want to try and kill them that turn, I can just use this on the next attack for -1 progressive difficulty. It's It's also really good on defense with Jedah de Momento to remove one of my multiples, so I have less progressive and can still keep blocking for the rest of the turn. On to the last card in the deck. I play 4 Wishing Ward. This is arguably the best thing to have come out of 7th Cross 4, Jedah. It says E, flip, discard the top 3 cards of my deck. Your opponent discards 1 momentum, so it's a very free momentum reset that lets you abuse your characters once per turn on a 0-diff spam with a 3 high block. It also says after this card leaves your hand due to your opponent's effects, I draw X cards where X is equal to the number of characters in my staging area, which is slightly less relevant, but it could come up. So, alright, and that was the end of the deck profile. If any of you would like to contact me on Discord, you can do so. I am Omatsuboyo on the UFS Discord. You can also contact Tam or any of our other staff who are in the Discord or in our personal Discord, and make sure you check out our Patreon, our store, and our YouTube. Thank you. Bye, everybody.